Right. Hello, good evening, and hello. How's everybody doing tonight? My name's DrWeez, and I'm going to do some overclocking tonight on the Rampage version, Rampage 5 Edition 10, along with an Intel Core i7 6950X, and then tonight I'll be using some HyperX memory. The memory I'm using tonight is a special edition that was sent to us by Kingston. Or by HyperX. It's a special engineering sample type memory setup. It's using the new M-DAR from HyperX, and well, I've never tested it before, and this is also the very first time I'm testing the 6950X in the lab, as well as the Rampage 5 Edition 10. I haven't tested it since Computex days, and you know, I only got to play with it for a couple of hours there. So this should be quite interesting. What we're going to do tonight is focus on the ProOC Cup, and stage 1 is Cinebench or Geekbench. I can't remember. Hold on, let me just load it up. But I have to do operating system preparations. I have to do driver installations, and I just want to do a little bit of basic efficiency or some basic testing on the operating system. So it's not going to be a very dramatic evening. We're not going after any big scores. We're not going to be pushing the CPU to its max. I plan to do that all on Thursday once I've got the operating system and all that's configured. And yeah, so stage 1 is Cinebench R11.5. Stage 2 is Geekbench multi-core. Okay, so I got my stages mixed up. So I've got the operating system installed for stage 2, which is Geekbench multi-core. And I think for Cinebench we need to use Windows 7, so we might go ahead and just prepare that operating system as well. But yeah, for the most part, let's go through and just have a quick squiz at what we've got going on the bench table. So just quickly having a look, I've got the Cooler Master Elite Overclockers edition of the AX1500i. That's going to be delivering all of our power. You can see that's behind the fan over here. That's a special edition of the AX1500i that was sent to a couple of the overclockers around the world. And basically what Corsair went and did there is they removed the overclock protection. So it's a 1500i plus, so 1500 megawatts and more until the thing basically stops working. On the CPU, the cooling that we're using today is the Beast again from DrWeez, German-based overclocker and reviewer. Then the Rampage 10 edition. So one of the things that you'll see is the nice LEDs. Normally there's a whole lot of face plates and cover plates and stuff like that that really illuminate the board very nicely, but you know, obviously for overclocking we remove all of that sort of stuff. And I've just insulated with full-on Vaseline, and that's just all over the board. Other than that, the video card is just a stock standard 720 or GTX 720 or GTX 730, I think it is. Nothing too exciting. And then once again, the new memory that we got sent to us from HyperX to give a go in this version of the ProOC Cup. So this round is made up again of 5 stages. The last 2 of the stages are 3D based, so they will be bringing some 3D overclocking to you as well. So if you didn't catch my my little introduction to the season yesterday, I basically was just giving some introductions to the new layout that you can see all around the screen here. So the very exciting new thing is that we do have over here is the system telemetry. So the system telemetry gives you real time feedback as to exactly what's happening on my CPU pot, and also what the ambient temperature in the room is. So you can see that nice and toasty at 22.3 degrees, and that's because I've got a really nice little gas heater behind me there blasting out some really nice heat, because outside it is currently at about 4 degrees. It's not very pleasant at all. So I want to go ahead and I want to show you the telemetry, my Fluke, okay, which I've got 2 thermal probes basically installed. One on the side of the pot and one obviously in the normal hole. You can see on the Fluke, my normal reading I got 16.9, and on the CPU currently reading is 17.5. But that should really move at about the same pace. There will be a couple of degrees out because the system telemetry is just resting on the side of the pot, and the Fluke one is installed. When I had them both in the hole, they weren't working, so I need to just figure that out tomorrow before the stream on Thursday. So that's really exciting. The other nice thing is as well is that the chat is over here. Yeah, you can see it's on the screen. So when you're watching the replays and somebody's asking a question, we should be able, you'll be able to pick up exactly what was said there. So it's not like I'm talking to myself. And then obviously down here we've got the hardware that's been used today. And then thank you to all our sponsors for this round of the Pro OC Cup. Thank you Intel South Africa, and thank you HyperX for all the assistance. I think that's enough of my blabbering on the introduction side of things. I've really got Windows 8.1 up and running. I need to install drivers, and I need to flash the OC panel, and then I want to just do some basic tests of Geekbench, and then from there we're going to call it a night, and then we're going to have a look at some hopefully binning of the 6950. It's the first one that I've tested out of Taipei. I've downloaded Christian Nay's email where he gave the method that he used to binning the Broadwell E processor, so I'm going to give that a test to see how this processor basically falls in with the ones that he tested. And yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you got any questions, please hit us up with a message on the chat. I'll try and monitor it as much as possible, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe to all the channels. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to get a move on. Right, so the first thing I just got to do now is I've got to try and find. I haven't switched Broadwell E on since Computex at all. I haven't had a processor. It's been a hell of a battle to try and get one. These chips on the local market are 25,000 Rand, excluding VAT, and yeah, that's a hell of a lot of money. So none of the distributors are willing to come to the party and to help us out with a chip there. And yeah, I struggled to get any out of any of my normal channels of support. Luckily, at the 11th hour this Monday, in fact, Intel South Africa was able to help out with a chip that I've got for 2 weeks. So I will be doing a lot of the Pro OC in the next 2 weeks, and then hopefully I can secure another chip for a little bit longer. But yeah, I can't really afford to pay that 25,000 Rand. And just to give you an idea, it's roughly about $1,800. It's just crazy. I can't afford that really. This just being a hobby, and I'm not actually making any revenue out of it. So let's go ahead, and the memory stick I've got installed here now is the memory stick that I had in Taipei. So if I remember correctly, we need to install the MIE. We're going to need to install or make a copy of that, and that's to set the cores, turbo V, and the ratio TB3. What was that? I can't remember. Alright, so let's go and start off with we'll just go with MIE, and I don't like having these things like that, so let me just go here. OC panel. I need to also update the OC panel, and there is a guide. I should read this, I guess. Alright, so let me just pull the chat up on the screen. Okay, evening Mark. 0053, how you doing? Long time no speak. And Troutman, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, so the last month I've been on a bit of a break. I've been up to the DRC a few times, and yeah, a couple of life events happened. Some exciting news. I ended up getting engaged, and so that's all looking pretty good. Okay, so really, like I said, today, you know what the problem is here. I don't know what is up with all of my Windows installations are really foobarred. Really, I mean, I don't know why it's happened, but it's happened. Right, so Abnormality 16, good evening, thank you for tuning in. So the Broadwell E is an interesting platform. Not the best memory overclocking in the world compared to Skylake, not the highest megahertz in the world compared to Skylake, but you do have 10 cores. And with the 6950, I believe we're sitting with 25 megabytes of cache, which is going to definitely give you an advantage in some of the benchmarks that rely heavily on that. Things like Firestrike and Vantage, I should imagine, will boost quite nicely from the additional cores. Other benchmarks like Geekbench and sort of maybe even HWR Prime won't really scale as much as you'd expect it to scale. Well, actually, maybe HWR Prime will. But things like 3 Mach 03, forget it. You need to have the megahertz for that. So I can't really tell you much about the motherboard because I really haven't had much time to spend with it. There is a montage of fantastically great new features for all your case modders out there, like the LED link and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I'm babbling. Okay. So I want to go ahead and just read okay. Now, Geekbench is not a benchmark that I am exceptionally familiar with. I'm not too sure exactly what tweaks work on it. What I need to do though is just activate the key quickly, and to do that I will need to just transition that over. Well, you can steal my key, I actually don't care, to be honest. What good is it going to do you? Okay. And we just going to transition back quickly. Right, so we're running Windows 8.1, 64-bit edition. This is an absolutely fresh installation. All I've done is installed Management Engine now and Turbo vCore. The other tools that I want to install is, well, I want to create a shortcut to it, is the X99 PC ratio. So that's a tool that we use to change the ratio, and I'll explain that to you quickly now. So what happens with the Broadwell E chipset is that when you change the multiplier, it doesn't always set on all cores, or it would fail to set on something like that. So your normal tools weren't exactly reliable. I don't know if they've actually fixed that yet, or if it's still a problem. But in order to change the ratio, you'd select all, and then say, right, well, I want to set it to 34 ratio. It will then go through, and it will just keep retrying all the different cores until it successfully sets it, and then it will exit. And whether this works or not now a while. It'll be interesting to see. And I guess we need to now start with doing my applications. Okay, that doesn't look like it's sitting at all. I might not have the correct tools installed yet, so I'll just go ahead and close that. Core is installed. I did install management engine, didn't I? Oh, I might not have installed management engine. Okay, well, I managed to set one core, looks like. But I think I've got speed steps still enabled as well, so I need to go and just have a look at all that. Okay, so it is installed. I don't know what this is, to be honest. TV3. There we go. It might need to be installed. Right, so, Christian Nay. Airburn, Cinebench R15 at 4.4 GHz, start at 1.4 and lower until fail. Best chip did it with 1.24, potatoes didn't even pass with 1.4. Less than 1.28 and greater than 1.32 chips were removed from the lot. Okay. Edition10 bin Cinebench at 1.5, minus 95, started 5 GHz and raised by 25 until fail. Best two chips did 5.25 at 1.26, okay, airburn chips, and those were used for 1.1. Worst chips did 4.9. Okay, so I guess the first thing we can start with is Cinebench R15 at 4.4. I think the difference is where we're cheating is that I've already got nitrogen going, and I think he did hit that on air. Troutman, that's a good question. No, I don't reinstall the operating system every time I bench, but what I did now during the break is I created fresh images of all my operating systems. So my Windows 8.1 32-bit 64-bit, my Windows 8 32-bit 64-bit, my Windows 10 32-bit 64-bit, and my Windows 7 and Windows XP drives also they're 32-bit and 64-bit. I went and I did fresh installations of all of them onto SSDs. So at any given time, I can quickly just flip through. Now the downside to that is that they are fresh installations. So when you start a new season and you're setting up your operating systems for a particular season of benchmarks, then you have to go through this process of now just setting up your drivers, setting up your tweaks and all that sort of stuff. And I like to try and do that offline, but at the same time, I only get so many hours in the day to do my overclocking. So I'm doing a bit of it on the stream. It also gives the guys a good idea of what goes into sometimes, just the preparation work and the setting up work and all that type of stuff. Alright. Okay, so this CPU is an engineering sample. So if I was in the lower leagues, I wouldn't be able to use it. But for ProOC, it's perfectly legal. And we're wanting to do Cinebench. I think he said R15. R15. Okay. I hate this operating system. Okay, so we're not going to install VGA drivers. So let's go ahead and have a look at this again. So if I want to set 30 on all, and I'll set 34. Okay, stuck on core 12. I don't know if that's working or not. We might have other problems on our hands. And let's just check here. I haven't set up anything in the BIOS yet. I can't even remember what the BIOS looks like on this board, to be perfectly honest. Let's see, speed step is still enabled. Let's go and just see, maybe we can just set it up in control panel. Yeah, let's go power, power, power. Okay, so set 34, and there it has come back and it has set all the ratios. So that there in lies, it gives you a good demonstration of what the actual problem was, you have with like Turbo V. So I should be able to set 36, and it has set 36 to core 0. So if I go all and set 36, it's only setting it to 1. Okay. Okay, so you actually got to type in all. You can't just put A. That's all a learning curve. So you sort here first. Alright, so according to Christian Ney, accept that. Let's just run it as a. I think I need to change the resolution. Okay, so according to Christian Ney, airburn Cinebench R15 at 4.4, start 1.4 volts, and lower until fail. Okay, so that would be our first test. Alright, resolution a little bit better for everyone. Fantastic. So turbo V core, and we're just going to set the core voltage to 1.4. I should imagine. Apply that, and we've got read points here. So let's just check the read points. Core A, core B, cache. Okay. Ground. Okay, we've got 1.4 volts set. So that is setting the voltages. And basically at 5 degrees, I can set the ratio to 44. So So type in all and hit 44 and let's see where we go with that. Okay, it looks like we crashed in fact. It's a good start. Let's go and do some work in the BIOS. Yeah, complete system lockup, so I hit the retry button on the OC panel. I must also flash the firmware on the OC panel because at the moment I'm still using the pre-Broadwell E firmware. Okay, let's have a look. In fact, what do I have here? Did I save any profiles during Computex? Okay, so I'll save the day 3 OC. Let's have a look at what I did there. Five, 40, 34. Oh, that looks like a little bit aggressive for the. That looks a little aggressive for the temperature I'm at. I don't think we're going to do that. Let's have a look what I did with start mem. Okay, so this looks like I was just starting with some memory overclocking. CPU input voltage 2.2. That might be why we weren't able to set 4.4. Coming back to me now. I don't think we need to set 2.2 for the temperatures we're at though. I think we can try 1.9. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rather just go ahead and load optimized defaults. From optimized defaults, I'm going to then go ahead and have a look at the overclocking preset and go for moderate. Then once we've got that loaded up, we then go and do a sanity check. So it's going straight for 5 gig. 5.5, 2.2. Okay, well then let's skip the air testing and go straight into the minus 100 testing. It's too late to redo the entire interview. Let's just go higher and core frequency when raising the cache ratio. One chip belongs to 5.1, 1.3 cache, and then almost 5.2, 1.65 cache. Yep, ladies and gentlemen, you get to see me playing with Broadwell E in a sort of a controlled testing environment live. It can't be the most exciting overclocking TV in the world. It's really just fumbling your way through, trying to figure out things, trying to learn the boundaries. At 1.5, cache at 1.5, 40, 34, DRAM frequency at 3. I think that's all good. Let's just go have a look at onboard devices. Yeah, that's fine. Well, let's see if we booted this at minus 80. Right, so the Intel Core i7 6950X has got, is of the 14 nanometer production line. Its base processor frequency is 3 GHz, max turbo is 4 GHz, it's 140 watt TDP. It does boast 25 megs of cache, so it's quite a monster. I think it's probably the closest we get to Xeon sort of quality on the desktop family of processors. Now, Broadwell E has got a horrible cold bug, cold boot bug around minus 90, minus 100, minus 105, depending on your chip and your voltages. So I'm really borderline to where I need to start being careful with the nitrogen pouring. And to be honest, I'm not 100% sure of the cold bug characteristics yet. Okay, so I need a new version of CPZ. Okay, 10 cores, 20 threads, 5 GHz, 1.55, using the moderate OC functionality, and let's see how stable we are. Now these chips really generate a lot more heat than what we're used to on the Skylake, so you really got to be sort of on your toes and watch the temperature, and if you're really wanting to maintain a temperature, you got to be sharp, especially when you start loading. Alright, so that looked like it did 5G quite easy. I don't even know what my PB is on this benchmark, or if there's any points here to be had here. I need to load up HWBot. I don't know if anybody else has been having issues connecting to it, but I have been. And let's go ahead and search for submissions, benchmarks, processor. Cinebench R15, 10 core. My personal best is 2631. Wrong bloody application. Okay, personal best is done with a 6950X Broadway E, done on the Rampage 5 Edition 10. So this was done obviously at Computex at 2631. I'm trying to pull up the screenshot so I can see what megahertz I was at, but unfortunately my internet is a little slow tonight because I'm streaming. I should imagine it's probably done at 5.1 or something silly like that. Alright, so let's just check the chat window. All good. Okay, let's go to 126.6. Okay, that's crashed. Okay, I got 00 on the postcode. Let's hit the retry button. Right, I don't think there's a lot of Okay, so the recording studio software actually crashed there, guys, so we are back. You didn't miss much, except for me not really seeing what happened there, unfortunately. So what I did manage to achieve now was 5.12 at 1.65 volts. We did go to minus 110, and then we hit what I think was like sort of like a cold bug, cold slow type effect. Yeah, I hit 112 and the same thing has happened. Okay, so it looks like I'm definitely getting my cold bug around minus 110, and that is about 15 degrees higher than what I had in Taipei. So we'll just get back into Windows there. I'm going to try and keep it around 105. And then I think we might be able to get that 5.1 to pass. Right, so we're back up and booting. Right, let's try that again. What we're going to do is we're going to set 1.65. Let's go 2.6. And let's try Okay, so we need to go colder than 105. Okay. Maybe what I need to just do is just give up on that. We've come to the conclusion that it's definitely not as good as the best chips that they had in Computex. It's not the worst chip. It's just spot on average. Maybe 5.05 for Cinebench. Yeah. For a single sample, it's not too bad, I suppose. Better than 4.9, that's for sure. I'm glad I didn't pay money for this chip though. Not the type of money they're wanting for it. Okay, let's go ahead and run Geekbench, just have a look what that's like. Not a lot of points in it. Can't say I'm very fond of this benchmark. I haven't run it a hell of a lot. Unfortunately, there's really no points in it at all. So we're running 5 gigahertz with memory at 3000, really straightforward, easy setting, and I should imagine we're around 45,000 points in Geekbench just for stock setting. If we are higher than that, then pretty good, but I doubt it. 46, okay, that's not bad. So we're competing with the likes of Aerotrax and Hiwa, who are currently running theirs at 5.2 and 5.1. So that's not bad. I guess it's at least competitive in comparison to the other people. So let's go ahead and see if this runs. At any higher. You know what, I should really save some screenshots here. Because at least I've got scores in case something breaks. Okay. ProOC round 3. Okay, so 46, and that is now going up against 46.7, so we're almost catching Hiwa, and he was running at 5.2. What are the temperatures like on the screen? Yeah, that's great. 6. That crashed, right? 51 seconds? Yeah. So what I'm going to do for maybe in the next session, if I can get to a hardware shop, is I need to solder onto these read points, and then I can on the screen display the voltages as they are incrementing with the temperature. So just like I'm displaying the temperature figures on the screen, I can also do that with some voltage readings. And I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. Broadwell has got the voltage regulator on the processor once again, so it's just similar to the pain and suffering we had with Haswell. No, it wasn't Haswell. Sandy Bridge. Devil's Canyon, yeah. I don't know whether they had the distributed voltage regulator or they had some chip on the processor that actually, the colder it got, the more voltage it pushed through. And I think it was Devil's Canyon, yeah. I didn't bench any 4790s. I skipped that generation completely. I went from 4770 straight to 6700K. But the idea is that well, the theory is that as you are increasing your voltages, as you are dropping the temperature, the voltage is increasing. So while I might be setting 1.65 here, the colder I make the processor, the higher that reading actually runs. So while I might set 1.65 and I go to at minus 90, when I go to minus 102, it's actually pumping 1.9 volts or something ridiculous into that. And that's really where the complication comes in with Broadwell E. It's a very difficult platform. As far as overclocking is concerned, you don't see the ease that you have with the Scala-X or even with the Haswell E. To a degree was easy. This is a much more sort of complicated chipset or chip to overclock. So the hope is, the dream is that when they come out with the Broadwell E refresh, which in theory would be like the 6960X maybe they won't do a 60X because it's 6960. Maybe that would then have all of these horrible functionalities removed out of it. Five seconds crashed, right? Yeah, it's crashed. Okay. There's really not a hell of a lot in this chip, I don't think. I need to just go and do some more reading. Gotta go back through my notes from Computex. Okay, so it's coming up to 10:15 in the evening. I'm going to start thinking about wrapping the session up. I think for a sort of first touch on Broadwell E in the lab, I'm not unhappy. I'm not happy, and I'm not unhappy, if that makes any sense to you guys. So what I am happy about, I'm happy that I've got a 6950X in the lab. I'm happy that I can do 5 gigahertz at least. What I'm not happy about is how comfortable I am with the platform, which is to be expected. And yeah, I think all in all, maybe with some tinkering, I might be able to squeeze 5.1 out of this chip. Maybe I need to up the cache voltage, maybe lower the cache voltage. Yeah, that could play a factor as well, maybe. Maybe up to 1.7 on the V-core. I think a key point here is as well is to get that voltage reading so we can actually watch what the voltages are doing. That could very well be a bit of our problem, a bit of my problem. There's a lot of tinkering and a lot of experimenting to do in order to really get comfortable with this platform, and not a hell of a lot of time to do it, unfortunately. I need to have my submissions done before I need to give the CPU back in a couple of weeks. Ten seconds. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and load profile 2. Let's just see what we've got here. So 5 gigahertz, 3 gigahertz, 1.6, 1.7 cache voltage. I think this might have some memory sets. Let's just check the memory. Uh, 3200 on the DRAM timing control. Ooh, that's a little aggressive, I think. Let's go for 4 times 8 gigs Hynix single-sided. Let's just load that. A little aggressive. Should be fine. Let's just do this. Yeah, I didn't like that. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and call it. So things that I still need to do. I need to set up the memory, and I need to just do a little bit more reading to see if there's anything that I've missed on as far as the CPU is concerned. I think we're just going to settle for like a 5 gig and then focus on trying to tweak the memory up a little bit. I haven't had any issues with memory channels dropping, which is always quite nice. And welcome back to benching. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and call it. So to all the South Africans that are watching, so don't forget to vote tomorrow. Every vote counts. Yeah. I'll be back on Thursday evening for another exciting round of Broadwell E overclocking for the ProOC Cup. Okay, so just got a message coming in here from a subscriber. And I need to just validate some information. Alright, so without any more excitement in this wonderfully entertaining Broadwell E overclocking session, I bid you farewell and wish you have a good evening. My name is DrWeez, and until next time, happy benching. Cheers guys. Thanks for tuning in.